Perek Alu, naaros, Daf Tes, Mishnah. The naaros, girls 12 years old, who sprouted 2 pubic hairs, not minors or a bogeres, that are mentioned in the Mishnah are entitled to the fine paid by a rapist. The first group consists of naaros, genealogically unfit, such as mamzeros, born from a cohabitation with an erva, according to Rabbi Akiva, born from a cohabitation with chayve lavin. Nesinos, Givonites, members of a Canaanite tribe. They tricked Yoshua and the Zakanim into a treaty to guarantee their safety at the time of the conquest, eventually circumcising and converting to Judaism. Yoshua banned them from marrying into the Kahal. David continued it because of their cruel nature. However, Tosfos holds they were included in the biblical prohibition, lo yischaten bam, even after they converted. David's decree was only to continue their servitude. According to other Rishonim, only the first generation Canaanites were prohibited to intermarry. David extended it to later generations. The Cutian woman came from a nation brought by the Assyrian king Shalmaneser to replace the 10 tribes after their exile. The Tan of our Mishnah, Rabbi Meir, held their conversion sincere. Despite this, he fined them monetarily to discourage their marriage into the cloud, but did not deprive them the fine of a rapist, she'ein chote niskar. The second group of naaros includes converts, maidservants, and captives, each one either initially a Gentile or exposed to them. Although these were assumed to have been violated, the rapist was not exempt from paying this fine because their virginity rejuvenates up to 3 years of age. The third group includes naaros, arayos, prohibited to the rapist by penalty of kares, and not misas bezdin, not exempting him from paying the fine. These 3 groups, despite their spiritual liabilities, are entitled to a fine for being raped. Certainly, naaros completely kosher. Question: the Mishnah implies that a minor is not entitled to this fine. Why is she different? The answer: Rabbi Meir, the Tan of our Mishnah holds, so long as the father can sell her as a maidservant, she is not entitled to the fine. According to the Chachamim, a minor from the age of 3 is entitled to the fine, even though her father can sell her. Question: how can the naaros of the Mishnah be entitled to a fine? The verse states, "Below siya leisha." The fine depends on her fitness to marry the rapist. Answer: Reish Lakish learns from a superfluous word and prefix in the context of the rapist that girls prohibited to him as chayve lavin and chayve krisos receive the fine. Papa learns it from a superfluous word and prefix in the context of the seducer. He cannot derive it from the context of the rapist because the superfluous word is needed to teach Abaya's law. If the victim dies before the rapist is brought to trial, he does not pay the fine. Reish Lakish cannot learn it from the context of the seducer because he needs it to create a gzerah between the context of the rapist and the seducer to teach the amount of the fine. The Gemara concludes that, in fact, 6 words in both verses are lidrasha. 2 teach the obligation for a seducer and rapist to pay the fine, 2 teach the ruling of Abaya and the gzerah shava, and the 2 remaining teach that the fine applies to naaros prohibited to the rapist and seducer as chayve lavin ukrisus. Our Tana differs from 2 opinions who explain that the requirement for payment of the fine depends on velosia isha. One opinion, Shimon Timni, holds that the verse requires only that the marriage be effective even if prohibited. The second opinion, Rav Shimon ben Asya, holds that the victim must be fit for the marriage to require payment of the fine. Although they differ concerning a mamzeres and the sina, but neither applied the payment to chayve krisus like the time of the Mishnah. According to Rabbi Akiva, that marriage is not effective for chayve lavin. Difference between them is an almana to a kohen gadol, following Rabbi Simoi's drasha that explains v'lo yechalu in that context as the child being a chalal and not a mamzer. Therefore, the marriage is effective, requiring payment according to Shimon HaTimni, but not according to Shimon ben Asya.